Hey. I don't know how to have a serious conversation when it's like weird, okay? So I've been hearing a lot how I need to share my story, okay? Because there's always somebody out there who either needs the encouragement or needs to hear that there's other people that have survived things. Basically to let them know that there is healing, there is a future, no matter the depths of hell that you have went through, crawled out of, etc., that there is hope. It's just what you make of it, okay? Now, if I remember, I'll tell you a little bit about my story every day if you guys are interested. If you're not interested, then you'll probably see me not posting it anymore, and that's perfectly fine, because not everybody's really interested in anybody's story. But for the ones that it might help, I'll start it off, okay? So, hi, my name is Christina. My original last name is Tenhave. I want to say I'm Irish, Swedish, and Dutch. I don't know much about who I am. I've been slowly figuring it out, and for the last 3-4 years, I've been on a massive healing journey. Facing every trauma that I've ever had to endure. So basically, those traumas I allow to surface, and I confront them head on so they don't hold leverage over me anymore. So, yeah, I'll be 36 this year. So I spent my whole life being a wallflower, trying to people please. I've been in multiple abusive relationships. And I grew up in foster care. I started in foster care at the age of 3, and my sister was allowed to stay with me. She was 7 at the time, and my brother was separated from us. He was 5. Basically, we were placed in foster care because of the choices our parents made. And you'll never hear the full story because, hell, I don't even know the full story either. There's parts of it that my birth mother will probably take to her grave. Basically, there was a lot of addiction involved. She worked the streets too, and she brought friends home. And from the little that I understand, she allowed her friends to have fun, okay, with her kids. And there's a lot that has happened before foster care. So we were then placed in foster care. And for 11 years, my sister and I endured even more abuse on many levels, to the point that some things are still very hard to talk about, and some things my brain has erased. My sister and I have talked about things, and I'm like, I don't remember that. One of those scenarios was I was bad. I had a visit with my dad that day, and I don't know what I did. I don't even remember this happening because I feel a certain amount of trauma, your brain kind of just pushes it out of the way, so it's protecting you. But our foster mother filled a bath of ice cold water up and submerged me in it. And she made me sit in the ice cold water, and I was probably only 4 years old at this time. And basically, I was so cold that my lips were blue. And then the visit got rescheduled. And she gave me hot cocoa. And she did everything in her power to get me warm again. There was a lot of things that happened. The foster sister tried drowning me a few times, held my head underwater. Eventually, because it happened so frequently, that I learned that if you go under even further than her hands can reach, you can go under and slip away. So I eventually started to outsmart her, but you know, it's a lot of things that we had to endure at such a young age. And I don't think a lot of people realize that it forms who you are as an adult. Either you go down one path or another. And a lot of the foster children that I grew up with have been in and out of jail, on the streets, addicted to one thing or another, and I'm not criticizing them. It's honestly really sad because they're lost. They don't know how to heal, you know? And they feel that's, I don't know if it's that they feel that's the only way, but I don't think they knew another way, nor did they have the guidance. And I'm not saying I did have guidance. My sister and I just, I don't know how we got out of it. And you know, like I don't know how I survived on some of the things that happened. I really don't. But that's just a lot of things that I have to figure out and work through. I don't even know. I don't know how I became the person I am. Isn't that weird? Like, I'm now in my 30s trying to figure out who I am, why I do the things I do. And basically, when you confront your traumas, you realize, so this is why I do certain things. And it all stems back to childhood, right? I know that before I became a bodybuilder and I started doing all that stuff, I had a horrible eating disorder to where I would starve myself for days on end, because our first foster home always told my sister and I how fat and ugly we were, that no guy would ever love us. We were told how stupid we are, etc., etc. I'd be picked on because in 7th grade I was at a 2nd grade reading level, and now I'm looking back and it's because of how much I was struggling mentally, and I didn't realize it at that time, but I feel that if people actually paid attention, they would have seen that. I'm actually very intelligent. I don't show a lot of people, but I know a lot of a lot. I'm like a Snapple bottle. But there's things that I had to overcome. But when I overcome these things, I try to figure out why. Why did I have this issue? Why did I do this thing? And it all stems back from childhood. So, just as a taste of my story, this is what it entails. And if you guys are interested in hearing my story, let me know. I mean, it might help somebody, you know? It takes courage to talk about your story. It takes courage to move forward, and it takes courage to heal, so you don't pass this anger on from generation to generation. Because, you know, you don't want your loved ones or children to go through a repeated cycle. So it's very important for us to recognize our traumas. And even if it means grouping up and getting a support system going, if that's easier, then, you know, I'm here. I get it. Okay? Reach out if you need.